Well, hello and welcome to another video. This one is a spot-on 3.4 Jaguar. As you can see, it's had a bit of a life, quite a lot of the paint missing. Thankfully, the windscreen's not in too bad a condition, a few little scratches, but nothing major. I think it's had a bit of a thump at the front in its time because one of the tyres has jumped off of the rim and the axle seems to be pushed back a little way. Other than that, it all seems pretty intact, although I did notice even through the misty glass that even though the case has never been opened, the steering wheel's missing, which is an interesting story to know how that happened, I'm sure. So I'm just going to get a tray now. I've pre-drilled the case, drilled the rivets out and got them ready for the replacement rivets when I'm all done. Just got the pick now and pull it apart and see what's inside. Pop the case open. Front seats have come adrift. As I say, the steering wheel for some bizarre reason is missing. Otherwise they're all intact. Just checking to see the pegs are there on the base so I can clip it back in again, it'll be okay. Bit of leverage to get the back seats off. Seem pretty decent if in need of a wash. Obviously the glass is riveted in. That's that dodgy looking front axle. It seems reasonably straight, so as I say, maybe it had a thump or a drop in its earlier life. And I think the axles will spin once I've managed to get the tyre remounted on the rim. Different very much to the dinky rims, these seem to clip onto the end of an axle rather than be riveted over. A kind of spring clip arrangement. I did ponder whether to pop them off, and then I thought, well, they're pushing 50 years old. If I take them off and they don't go back on again, that'll be a bit of a tragedy. So I'll probably just mask them over and clean them up as best as I can before painting. Gonna have to use the hot tube to get the riveted windscreen out. So I think it's just in the bottom corner there, and just warming it up with a burner. Just try and get it warm enough to warm up the tube without warming up the fingers on the other end. And it's a fairly straightforward operation. As you can see, it just melts the plastic a little bit. A couple of turns and it cuts through. When you can feel the resistance of the hard metal roof, chances are you've done what you need to do. There you go, and that will fairly easily push out now for me. And we're done. Just glue that in when I've polished it up and finished the rest of the job. Yep, almost in order. So, stripped as usual with caustic soda, giving it a polish. I've already applied the primer and I'm just putting on this colour. Oddly enough, it's not actually a top coat. It's from the Autoborn range and it's a base coat green. But I was really amazed to see when I tried a bit before I started painting how close it was to the original colour. So if it works, get on with it. So I've sprayed up the interior now. I'm just going to tackle the body of the car. Usual story, multiple light coats till you get something close to the colour you're happy with. Goes on pretty well. The Autoborn range is really designed for kind of full-size cars and motorcycles and similar applications. So it's a good durable paint. passes just to make sure I've got it nice and even. Got the sills and the pins underneath that support the axle because they do show when the body of the car's been put back together again. Pretty much reached the finishing coat now. So next thing up is that I'll take it out of the spray booth, give it a light dust and then lacquer it. As you can see now, it's got the high gloss lacquer on it, and I'm just going in and doing a little bit of detailing of the bumpers and headlights, tail lights, etc. Using a high gloss so-called mirror chrome finish, which is pretty nice. Takes a bit of a while to dry, but I'm in no particular hurry with this project. For a change, I haven't left myself with a deadline, so I can afford to let it alone a day or two while it dries off. Onto the back now. Nice double bumpers on these Mark II Jaguars. Always fancied one, but they're always a little bit out of my price range. Unfortunately, I got into the classic car scene just at the point where the prices of that Mark II Jaguars were going through the roof, so I never really quite managed to own one, disappointingly. Anyway, I digress. We're talking about the one on the table, not the one in my dreams. A little bit more detail in with the chrome here. Just round the bumpers, try to keep it off the top of the number plate holder if I can. Oh, there we go. Pretty pleased with that one. Number plate light come boot opener. And now on to blacken the tyres. I coated the base plate with Tamiya Japanese Navy Grey, which seemed to be a pretty reasonable match for the original undercarriage on the spot-on, so that is satisfactory. I've put the chrome paint on the wheel hubs, and I'm just getting some Tamiya black rubber on the tyres to give them a bit of a refresh. I did look to see if I could buy replacement tyres, but having seen how the hub went together and that the fact that the tyres that were on weren't too bad, I thought it would be a safe enough gamble just to black them over. Saved me a few pennies and a bit of a headache. Reasonably happy with them. Just makes it all nice and even. I'm just popping on the little number plates that I printed. These are on a waterproof self-adhesive paper rather than a decal as such, so I suppose we'll call them a sticker. I don't know whether this method is of any help to you. It certainly helps for me. Just stick it on the end of a scalpel, get it in position, and that's it. Lines up nicely. I think the amount of times I've ended up looking around for a sticker and it's been stuck on the inside of my finger or something such. Hence the use of the scalpel. I can keep an eye on where it is all the time. So just stick it to the tip of the scalpel. Up she rises. That's all nice and on and squared away. Happy enough with that. Next up, it'll be time to put it all together. So I'm on my little velvet pad to start scratching me freshly polished roof. Pinched this steering wheel out of the scrap box. Gold metal colour. I thought, well, I'll not bother to paint it. I quite liked it, so I left it on. I think it was out of a gull-wing Mercedes or some such thing. I like the way that the seats clip onto these pegs on the base rather than just being loose. Just locate them on the pegs, press them down. Nice soft plastic they use on these snap-on car interiors as well, rather than that horrible blown or vac-formed stuff that you come across on some of the cars. Bit of double-sided tape to hold the windscreen in place. I've been using this double-sided tape for a number of years now on all sorts of projects, and it's never let me down. It's never dried out. I've never had it come apart on anything, so I'm reasonably confident it'll manage to keep the windscreen in place on this little car for at least as long as I need it to. And of course, should ever need to take it apart and repaint it or repurpose it for anything, I haven't got to worry about breaking the super glue and breaking the screen while I'm at it. Slip the front axle on and mate up the two halves. Back on the roof, and it's rivet time. So while I'm fiddling about dropping these rivets in and putting the super glue in place, I'd like to thank all the guys and gals that have been watching up to this point. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you haven't subscribed already, I'd be really grateful if you gave it some thought and maybe click the subscribe button. I'm only a little bit short of 100 subscribers, and my channel is 12 months old shortly. Nothing would make me happier than to find that I'd managed to push through the 100 in my first 12 months of putting up these videos. Anyway, that's the plug. That's the begging done. Thank you for watching whatever you do. I'm just popping my rivets in. As ever, there's a tiny little bit of impatience in me, and I can't help but use some zip kicker on the rivets at the back, because I really want to be turning it over and see if it rolls. Quick burst with a zip kicker, and you can see it dissolve, and as it dissolves, so the glue is set, the super glue is set, I can with confidence flick it over and roll it up and down, and it's a roller. So all that leaves me to do is pop it on the turntable for you to have a look at the finished item. Spot on toys, 3.4 Jaguar. I think it's turned out pretty well. Complete strip off, repaint, re-chrome and gloss. Washed up the tyres, polished the windscreen, put a replacement steering wheel in there. So all that's left for me to say is I've been Neil at Hellboy 59's Wet Works. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you'll watch again. Thank you and goodbye.